Everybody, how we doing? Thank you guys so much for being back at Eggs and Issues. I missed you for the last one. I had a little something in my eye, and Jay pinch hit for me, but I am really excited to be back today. We got a bunch of y'all in the room, and that is so exciting to see that kind of energy and enthusiasm about the great things going on in our community, and I couldn't be more excited about our program today. I want to echo Jay's remarks, thanking our sponsors, our presenting sponsors, Synovus and House and Healthcare, for their year-long partnership. We have 3 silver sponsors that also help support the entire series of Eggs and Issues, and those are Cox, Georgia Power, and Hargrave. If y'all will join me in giving them a round of applause at this time. And of course, our individual program sponsors, Flint is sponsoring our event today with House and County. Our next Eggs and Issues, I'm telling y'all this now, and I'll remind you at the end, is just 2 weeks away. So with primaries and special elections this year, and this being a polling place, our schedule isn't exactly spaced the way it normally is. So we're going to be back here in 2 weeks on the 5th. So this is the only time it's okay to pull your phones out, but you can go ahead and register now if you would like online, or make sure you do it when you get back in the office, because we have the treat of having my good friend Angie Giesling with the House and County Development Authority. We're going to be talking about all things workforce development, which I know is a critical component for business, for the base, for our community partners, and you guys aren't going to want to miss that talk. But I am excited today to host one of my favorite people in the county, Chairman Tommy Stalnaker. It's always a treat to hear from him and to hear from our leadership of the county about the great things that are happening here. And so y'all please join me in welcoming him to the stage now. Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Whoop. Got it?
Good morning.
There you go.
April gave me a training course with the mic before we started, and she said the red button or the green button. I said, I'm colorblind, so how am I going to know that? And, she said, oh man, you're always full of it. It's an honor to be here this morning, and I think we've got a great program for you this morning. It's going to be a little bit different, and if you don't get your answers to the questions you would like, you see me after the meeting, I'll be glad to try to answer them for you. But before we get into that, I want to say something about April and her staff. There's been a lot of people that have been acknowledged here this morning, but April and the chamber staff and the volunteers in the chamber do not get enough acknowledgement for what they do. These events are not easy to put on. The annual event they just got through with was not easy to put on. And April, you and your staff, I think, needs to stand up and get a well round of applause. Let me acknowledge some county staff that are here this morning. Just raise your hand. Tom Hall, Robbie Dunbar, Director of Operations, Barry Holland, Director of Administration. I'm going to acknowledge 2 of our commissioners right now. That's Commissioner Gail Robinson and Commissioner Jay Walker. The other 2 I'm going to hold for just a moment, because we're going to acknowledge them in a different way. And actually, that's going to be the program today, ladies and gentlemen. So you're not going to have to listen to me get down in the weeds and tell you how many miles of roads are being paved and all the buildings that's being done. I know you want to know that, and I want to tell you that. But I think this is much more important today. I also want to thank the military people, General Bennett, Colonel Moore, Colonel Stevens, all the rest of you that are here, the men and women in the uniform. Would you please stand for just a moment? First responders and law enforcement people that are in the room. Any law enforcement or first responders in the room?
We got some.
It is an honor to introduce the gentleman, and I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. But let me just give you just a little brief background on the 2 of them. You've probably read and heard about it. But between the 2 of them, they've got in excess of 45 years in elected office. 45 years as being a county commissioner in this county. Together now, not 45. Make sure that's clarified. But, not only has we got the 45 being elected, but they was on different boards in this county. And one of them was an employee for this county for a while. So when you add that together, they got almost 65 years of combined service to this county. They're a wealth of knowledge. And I've said it at the awards, or the annual program of the chamber, they are the epitome of an elected official. If any elected official wanted to pattern themselves after somebody, it ought to be these two gentlemen today that's going to come up on stage in just a moment with us and be with us. It gives me an honor and a pleasure to introduce Commissioner Tom McMichael. If you'll come on up, and you'll sit by April if you don't mind when you come up.
Come on.
And also, Commissioner Larry Thompson, if you'd come on up. While Larry's coming up, I want to acknowledge his wife. His wife, Chris. Chris has been the real support behind Larry. And listen, any good man, I tell you, it takes a better woman to make him a good man, and Larry tells us that very often. Chris, thanks for being here. We're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to lob the first question over to Commissioner Thompson. And Commissioner Thompson, we'd like for you to give us just a little brief background. I know you could talk for 30, 45 minutes on this, but that's the question I'm fixing to ask you. But a little brief background on your family, and also how long you've been in this county, and you are a native of this county as well, so acknowledge that.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you for the kind words earlier. Thank you, April, for putting this on in the chamber. And thank you, everybody, for attending. And Tom is right about one thing about Chris, is every pretty good man has a great woman behind him. Stand up to a guy like everybody sees. Chris and Gail lay pretty up our table, so we needed all that. But anyway, my grandparents, Thompsons, moved to a little dirt road that later became Thompson Road in the early 1900s. They had two children. One was my father. They grew up there. My father married a lady, Miss Ruth, from Crawford County, and there was 5 of us. We grew up there, and I'd like to present something to Mark Scott. We went to Perry School from Thompson Road in Centerville, and I had never figured that one out. I think there's something political going on there. But anyway, we graduated, the first 3 children graduated from Perry, and the last 2 children graduated from Northside. So that was the name of that. But my father was a farmer. We grew up on a small farm, and he eventually became a house builder, built about 50 houses in Centerville. Thompson Road was dirt, House and Lake was dirt, stopped at Watson. There was no Russell Parkway extension. The Russell Parkway was just a surface treated road. So can you imagine going down north of Centerville, going up that steep hill past Bagall on a dirt mud road on a day like today? And you can see how I was raised up. So I have seen a lot of things go on in this county. And I am a native here. I was born in Byron, Georgia, in the doctor's office, but they brought me home the next day to Houston County. And that's been my home ever since, except for a little stint or 2 in other places, but 99% of it's been here. Thomas getting edgy over there. Thompson Road later became a 4-lane highway, a 3-lane highway with curb and gutter, and Thompson Middle School is sitting right in the middle of where we used to drive John Deere tractors. So it's come a long way. So I'll let you go with that now.
Very good. So I'm not used to having a co-host, so we'll see how I do, Commissioner, sharing the microphone. But what a treat to be able to share your stories today. Thank y'all so much for joining us. So Commissioner McMichael, I know that you came to Houston County. So if you can share with us about when you moved here and what brought you here, and give us a brief family history, if you will.
Thank you so much, April. And I might add that I was the chairman of the chamber back at BRAC 95. You remember that? I never will forget that experience as long as I live. And we went over to Birmingham to meet with the BRAC Commission, the BRAC Commission at that particular time. And the governor was supposed to be there to make a presentation, and he didn't show up for a while. And I was sitting at the table up there, and Eddie Wiggins said, "You're it." And I have never been so nervous in all my life. And finally, the governor came in just about 2 seconds before he was supposed to go to the stage. I was going on the stage and talk about why we need to keep the Robbins Air Force Base secure and things of this nature here. And he showed up, and I had never been so glad to see a governor all my life. But anyway, I was born and raised up in Jackson, Georgia, on a farm up there. My dad was a very successful farmer up there. Incidentally, I've been married to my wife Diane for 60 years this past December. She's not with us today because she's a little bit under the weather, if you will, please, from there. But anyway, I went to the University of Georgia. I had accepted both Georgia and Georgia Tech both at the same time. But my daddy told me I was going to go to the University of Georgia because I had a scholarship my first year at the University of Georgia. So that's why I went there. My son played football at the University of Georgia, also got a full scholarship up there too. For that, graduated, and both of my children graduated from high school here in Warner Robins. My daughter is here, is a school teacher back at Barnell Middle School is the way she's teaching now. My son is very successful also, and he is finished up at Georgia Tech. Can you believe that? He fell from grace. But anyway, 9 days after I graduated from the University of Georgia, I was on active duty on the Samson, going through ROTC at the University of Georgia. And after that, I came to Atlanta, and I was interviewing with both, had an invitation to go to work with either the Travelers Insurance Company or either the C&S Bank at that particular time, which was a real bank, I might add. Anyway, and I asked Mr. Fleet there, I said, can I stay in Atlanta for 2 years? He said, Tom, in 6 months you're going to be in Hartford, Connecticut. I got up, shook his head, and said, thank you. Anyway, and that's how I came to work with the bank, and I spent 20 years in Atlanta, was transferred to Warner Robins in 1979, as a matter of fact. To be here 2 or 3 years, didn't go back to Atlanta, but the rest of that's history, thank goodness. Warner Robins has been good to me and my family and things of this nature. It's been really, really good for all of us, and I retired from the bank back several years ago as a city president and things of that nature. So it's been a real trip for me, and I've seen a lot of things happen in this county that I never dreamed would happen before. Incidentally, before I came here today, I watched booming Houston County on TV this morning again, which tells us about the great things that's going on in this county. And I think it's just a real tribute to not only the elected folks in this county, but also the citizens of this county. I want to thank you for electing me for 6 times as a Carroll County Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. It's your turn's up next, and what I want to ask you is, once your career is over as a commissioner, what are your future plans after you finish? Now, what we really want to know is if you got any other goals and aspirations for political office. You know, there's a lot of them coming available over the next couple of years. City elections, state elections, national elections, or if there's no elections for you. But if you'll tell us a little bit about that as well. But we'd like to know what you plan on doing after your career's over.
No. But I would like to remain active in the county. If there's something I can do for you. If not, that's fine. But if you got something you think I may can handle for a short while for you, I'll be glad to do that. I plan to add to my Indian artifacts collection and add to Chris's extensive glass and porcelain collections. And I'm going to keep butting heads with the weather and try to get some forest growing in my pasture with this bad soil, and it's flooded right now, so that's kind of tough on the trees. I'm going to build a small income property. I've been telling a lot of people this for a long time, but I'm going to build a small income property and manage it. And when Chris gets ready to travel, we're going to travel, and we're going to also spend more time in Seattle with our 2 grandchildren, whose daddy is a Georgia Tech graduate, and I assure you he will say, thank you, Tech. His executive will forward. Thank you.
What about you, Commissioner McMichael?
Answer's no. But I still plan on staying very active in the county, and a lot of things that opportunity is going to be here each and every day for it. I still serve on 5 different boards in the county and chair 2 of those, and and I hope to be able to continue to serve in that area. If nothing else, I'm gonna volunteer at the hospital, and I know Dr. Silver would love to see me down there. That's with a grain of salt, I'm sure, with that situation that too. But as far as political aspirations are concerned, I have no other political aspirations whatsoever. I never dreamed I'd be, on the commission as long as I have, as a matter of fact, and you can go back and think of a guy named Cheryl Stafford. Me being on the county commissioner, I was on the P&Z board at that particular time, and he sent somebody down to see me and said, we want you to be on the P&Z board. That's planning and zoning. I said, what's planning and zoning? I know the difference in an R3 and a C1 at that particular time. But anyway, I learned that quickly, and from there, I started to look at the situation as far as being the commission was concerned, and he asked me to run for the commission. I did, was very successful on that situation, and it's been a real pleasure to be serving the commission. I've served with 3 different chairmen, and started off with Cheryl Stafford, and then we had Ned Sanders, and then Tommy Stonica, and all 3 of them have done just an absolutely, not a good job, but a phenomenal job of running this county. I thank you for the great job that y'all do each and every day, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate you.
Well, you just jumped into my next question, which was telling us about why you ran. So as most of y'all know, the Chamber has run adult and youth leadership development programs since the 80s, with the end goal of developing leaders to run for public office and to serve our community in meaningful ways. So Commissioner Thompson, I'll let you answer why you first decided to run, and then I'd love to hear from both of you. As a follow-up, was it more than you expected after you got elected? So, Commissioner Thompson, why did you first run, and then we'll let both of you answer if it was more than you expected.
I was chief building inspector for 6 years, and I saw firsthand how the commissioners could shape this county. Houston County had been good to us, and Chris and I wanted to give back. Chris served 8 years on the library board and did an excellent job with that. Actually, you don't want me to answer the question, I just answered that first. So I had challenges for people, dealing with people in building inspection. And so that went right on into a commissioner's job. You deal with people almost daily, and there's nothing more rewarding to be able to satisfy a Houston County citizen with a drainage problem, a garbage problem, or just any kind of problem that come up you can't imagine. But I enjoy that, and so that was one of the reasons that I got into that, and hopefully the 21 years I did a good job with that, and that's why I got in, because I thought I could serve the community.
Was it more than you expected?
Okay, you want me to answer?
Yeah.
It was more rewarding than I expected. Just dealing with people. Tom and I both know on a constant basis you get calls from people saying, I got this problem. And so you get with your department heads and you try to get that worked out, and when you get that worked out, that's really a good feeling. It's very rewarding, and things like the Charlie Jones Award, Chamber Award, Tom and I were the other night. It's so humbling, and I wouldn't take anything for that.
What about you?
A lot more than I expected, yes it was. And it is a challenge each and every day on it. And 3 things I learned right quick. You can't make people happy to deal with children, dogs, and cats. I don't care what you do, you're going to lose in that situation. But anyway, it was really a challenge for me to come on the commissioner, and one of the guys, Tommy at that time was in our public works area. He used to come by the bank and pick me up before I retired from the bank and say, we need to go look at this road and this project and this things of that nature. He's one who really I learned a lot from this man over here, as far as being a commissioner was concerned, even though he was not in an elected position at that particular time. But it's a challenge each and every day, because we got almost 160,000 people live here now. We're larger than Bibb County now. Thank goodness we don't have a lot of problems. We don't. Bibb County has at this particular time, and I want to just continue to see Houston County to grow the way it's growing right now. If you haven't seen wonderful Houston County, the way it's been growing on the TV with the Boomtown, Georgia. Take a look at that. They have to get up early in the morning to see that now, but it's really good information and tells you lots of things that's going on in this county. One of the things that makes our county so great is this people that sit over here, our school board. Thank you for the great job y'all do each and every day also. Thank y'all.
Okay, Larry, and, once Larry, you finish this question, Tom, we'd like you to answer the same question. What accomplishments are you most proud of in your tenure as a commissioner? And we know it could be multiple accomplishments, but pick the ones that really pop up and you're most pleased with, regardless whether it's relationships or actual construction projects or whatever it may be. I think that would be good for all of us to hear, over these 20+ years that each of you served, what really highlights what you see as accomplishments in this county. I'm going to begin with Commissioner Thompson, and Commissioner Michael, you follow him as soon as he's finished.
Of course, the number one thing is roads. Always heard we need north-south, east-west connectors, and of course we have those with Moody Road and Houston Lake Road and Russell Parkway. Of course, that's the greatest accomplishment I think that's happened over the last 20 years. The Judicial Complex in Perry, 800 megahertz was installed, and I was kind of put to the lead commissioner on that, and all of us really didn't know what 800 megahertz was. It names 4 towers, 400 feet high, and one 357 feet high. And that's just a massive, it was $12 million put in the budget for that, and brought it in at 11.4, real proud of that. We had one bidder, Motorola was the only one that could do that. We built one new library and completely remodeled 2, I'll get into that later. And we did a $7 million upgrade to that 800 megahertz and 911 system that I was talking about just a minute ago. And one of Jimmy Williams' dreams was code red and sirens throughout the county. And we went to the people and asked them if we could raise the millage rate by $500,000 to put that in, and we did that. It was $1.6 million, and we put it all in for $1 million and had $600,000 left over to fund the code red and fix any of the sirens that might have got damaged over the years. And that happened. Those are some of my best, but the best things are relationships. Tom and I sit together for 20 years. Judge was giving us an oath of office one day, and she said, "Raise your right hand." I said, "I'm not going to have to say I do standing by Tom and Michael." She said, "No." I said, "I'll say I will." Thank you for that. I wouldn't take anything but knowing our 3 chairmen. Cheryl, I knew him all my life, but I knew him as chairman shortly. He passed away. Ned Sanders was a great chairman, and Tommy came along, and what a budget guy he is. He took this county through all the bad times with almost the depression we had, and the county is in good financial condition now. Relationships are what they are with our commission and the people of this county.
I can echo what Larry just said, great accomplishment. One of the things I'm most proud of is our relationship we have with Roberts Air Force Base. That is economic engine that not only drives Houston County, but also drives all of middle Georgia. And we know it, my friend. We know it. And I want you to know we will continue to support it every way we possibly can to make it as successful as we possibly can. And look at the new missions that are going to be coming that way, I hope, soon. But one of the things other than what Larry just said that I'm most proud of is the diversification we've seen in the industry in this community also, thanks to the folks in our economic development area, that we've seen some things happen there that's been really good for us in the Frito-Lay and the Purdue plant and things of this nature down that way. And echoing exactly what Larry just said, a lot of great things. The other thing I'm really proud of is the passing of the SPLOST. We have been very successful in the SPLOST. Every time we asked one for the people of Houston County, they voted a yes on that. That's been very, very meaningful to us and things of that nature. We've been able to do some things we wouldn't ordinarily be able to do because of the SPLOST money. And thank you to the citizens of Houston County for the great job you do each and every day for us.
All right, the next one is for both of y'all as well. One of the most visible things we as community members see is that y'all appear to all get along. Is it true, from your perspective? And then can you tell us who really keeps whom straight?
We keep each other straight. If, we don't always agree on things, but if you don't agree on things, best thing you can do is come to some kind of a compromise on it. And we do get along. We actually like each other, which is kind of unusual. Yeah, I'm not gonna marry Larry, don't That is true what he said about the thing I do. He did tell Janice Spires, he swore in. He said, I'm not gonna say I do standing next to Tom. That is a true story, but, that makes a lot of difference on it, because you can get things done when you work together. And, you know, you've seen the old phrase that you've seen horses pulling in different directions. Well, the 5 horses we have for the commissioners of House County all pull together. I can assure you that each and every day to make this a better place to live, to work, and to worship, and raise your family and things of that nature too. It just makes it, it's just really, you get a lot done when you do get along with it. And who holds it together? Well, kind of hold each other together, but the bottom line lies with the chairman though.
We've been together for 20 years. Me, I'm the shortest serving term, part-time commissioner on the board, which, you know, that speaks well for itself. I've got 21 years in. We love each other, we're family. And what we want is what's best for this county. So you set your goals for what you want this county to be and the way you want it to go. And everybody will probably have different ideas how to get there. But you all want to go to a common goal, so let's work out. And a strong leader is definitely a plus.
So Commissioner Thompson, if you'll hang on to the microphone, as a follow-up to that, having those goals and dreams, what are your dreams for the commission, and for the county in the future?
Well, my hope is that the new replacements for Tom and I will be open to leadership, will bring new ideas, but feed off the experience of what's already on the board and past members. There's things like encroachment that this commission got going for the Middle Georgia Development Authority, Central Georgia, and got it done. All those are big projects, and I just want the county to be kind of a lighthouse and for a place to work and play and have a nice home. And I guess that's my hope for it, is just to keep moving in the right direction. I think this commission under Tommy's leadership has got it going in the right direction, and we want to continue it. So keep the family together.
Well, you know, it's a big paying job, you know that too. I think I make 40 cents an hour, as a matter of fact, somewhere in that general neighborhood. But I know 2 people have already announced they're going to run for the office. One of them run for Larry's position, one of them my position. Is to propose you know, one thing about our county, we don't run these districts. All of us run county-wide, and that is a real asset, I think, to the county to be able to do that, because you don't have anybody have any particular area where you're concerned with and things of that nature. Because I'm just as concerned about the south end of the county as I am about the north end of the county, to make things work in the right direction. As long as we have the people that are dedicated, that want to make the jobs better each and every day and work in harmony with each other, I think that'll continue as long as we have a commission going, and then they have my complete support. Thank you.
Commissioner Thompson, I'm gonna jump back. You mentioned 911 a few moments ago, and I know that was, one of your babies. Let's call it that, because you had a great interest in the 911 development, improvement and all, and also in the libraries. I think those 2 areas that you are probably the most proud of, that you put a lot of time and energy into it, and you look back on it and you can reflect on it. But also, give us your thoughts on both of them, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but go ahead and tell us more about the libraries and 911 and the benefits that you see.
In 1999, the county took over funding of the libraries, and that was a good thing, because trying to get all the cities in the county together to fund something is kind of hard sometimes. But taking over the libraries, we had some library money in the SPLOST, and the state came through, and we built a brand new, great library in Somerville. It's a beautiful edifice. It's on Gun Road. If you don't need to go by there, thousands of people a month go in there, visits to that library. Nola Brantley was totally gutted and remodeled and added on to Perry Branch. It was totally gutted and added on to. We have 3 magnificent libraries now. Perry and Warner Robin, Nola Brantley and the Perry Branch was funded totally by SPLOST. But the first one did have $2 million in it from the state, and that was Governor Perdue, which was a big help for that. But we have the finest library system in this state, I think. And Sarah Polk is our director, and she is one well of director. Thousands of people go in those libraries yearly. I mean, thousands. You'd be astonished at the amount of people that go into that. 911, it was established with 800 megahertz back in around 02, and the dispatchers dispatched everything. If you call for a fire, if you call for somebody sick, or any emergency you have, it goes to our 911, and then they send it to the right agencies. Now, up to about 2 years ago, 800 megahertz is just a huge computer, so you know what you do with computers, you throw them away after a certain amount of time. That thing was $12 million. We didn't have to replace the towers and some of the other stuff, but we did have to spend $8 million in upgrading the 800 megahertz systems to make it more hotspots and new laptops for all the patrolmen and firemen and whoever needed one, and the radios. They're $4,000 or $5,000 a piece. So you know, it's very expensive. So that upgrade, we added more consoles, so we had more people in 911 to answer your calls. So that I am very much proud of, and we brought that in for around $6.5 million.
Commissioner McMichael, both of you have commented about the county's good fiscal position. Can you share with us kind of what you think has been the recipe for your success in that area?
A lot of hard work at both of them, number one. And we've had several things to happen. I think it helped us as far as the budget is concerned for the county, and that the digest has increased every year. Last year we issued $100 million in building contracts in Houston County. $100 million in building contracts last year. That's a lot of money. Of course, they're not all on the digest stand, but they'll be coming on shortly from there. Another thing's been our savior with that thing has been the SPLOST money we've had. Because the SPLOST will allow us to do a lot of things you couldn't do ordinarily with the financing of equipment and buildings and things of that nature with the county. And also our department heads and county employees. Dedicated, we have the finest department heads in county, elected folks in the House County you could possibly get anywhere on it. And I tell you what, they belly up to the bar, if everybody use that phrase. When it comes to handling the finances of the county, we've gone from, I wrote the first 10 county heads, as a matter of fact, when I was still working at then CNS Bank, I think it was that big a time, and which was a real bank, incidentally. Whatever. But that's a tax anticipation note, which means that you're borrowing money, paying for it on your taxes, and you're going to be collected at a later date. Anyway, from that we've gone to where we have a surplus now of almost 9 months of operating money in the bank. And it'll take care of any kind of emergency we have to come up that might occur, and hopefully we'll have to tap that quite some time. But some of the biggest expenses we have here as the county is concerned right now is your health insurance and prescription drugs. It is absolutely gone out of sight. And we do a great job with the benefits of our county, and everything is completely funded with it. And so with that, we'll have to back up to the bar. And a lot of our counties, incidentally, don't even have their pension plans that are funded. Ours is completely funded as of today. And we do a great job, I think, with that too. And it just requires a whole lot of teamwork on the part of the department heads in the county and things of that nature. We try to put $1 million a year in our reserve account. Thank you.
Go ahead.
April, you're gonna kick it to me.
Sure.
Let's talk about a few projects so we can enlighten people on a few of the projects that are going on. And, Larry, I'm gonna let you pick a couple of projects and talk about them, and then I'll let Tom do the same thing on something that we got ongoing right now that the people would like to know about.
Okay, it was always Jimmy Williams' dream to have a full-time fire station, so we built one Purdue next to Purdue Chicken, and it has a full-time ambulance. We're in the process of building another one on Lake Joy Road, and it should be completed before long, according to ICB, but I don't know how they're doing that in the rain, but it's gonna have an admin building, and it'll also have a full-time emergency crew there too. And in front of that, we're widening Lake Joy Road. It's project 4. It'll go down to Langston Road. It's well on the way, and that, if they'll get some dry weather, they'll have that finished fairly quick. That's 2 of them, Tom. You wanna do the rest of?
I'll pick up on some of them we've got going on right now. One of them is the water situation, and I hate to mention water now, but all the rain we've had. In the Bonnet area, we're in the process of having, putting a new well out there. In fact, Robbie met with a bunch of folks yesterday. We're calling Sloop, who does a lot of consulting work with us, and a lot of planning also as far as the water is concerned for the county, to get that taken care of. Hopefully that's gonna be done by the end of, I told them December 31st of this year, but they're not gonna promise you that for sure. But hopefully we get done somewhere in that general neighborhood. That's one of the big jobs we have going on right now. And also the courthouse, I'm sure y'all are aware that we're gonna move the state court down to Perry. All the courts will be in one facility down there. That's under consideration right now. In fact, we have some plans already drawn by Jim Mesley on this thing now, and we try to do all these things in-house if we possibly can on it. And that'll be finished sometime in the year 2000 and next year. Well, it'll be next year, I'm sure, before that get completed down there. By doing that, you have all the courts in one house, under one roof. You might be transporting the prisoners back and forth between Warner Robins and Perry by taking care of that situation. So that's being funded by a SPLOST project, incidentally, and that enables us to get that taken care of also.
The state court building is gonna be somewhere around $7 million, $7 to $8 million on that addition. Thompson Mill Road, in the process of widening to go to the middle school that will be on that road. I don't know how far that construction is coming on it, but it should be ongoing there. So we're widening the road from Thompson Mill Road from 96 to old 96. We have a firing range that's state of the art for the sheriff. All of our people can train and get plenty of training, and there's plenty of room. I think we've got about 30 acres there. They can train, and then they have a small admin building where they can take tests, and it has a rifle range, which a lot of them don't have, because it takes a lot of room. I think the sheriff is really proud of that. I know we are. A water treatment plant going in next to Frito Lake. The test wells have all come back positive. We had that piece of land on 96, old 96, that we were gonna put a well there, but the test came back bad, so we kept the land, and that'll be the next full-time fire station for Lake Joy. And then on 96, that'll be the next fire station that'll be, and this plant will be in full-time too.
One other thing I'd like to mention too, is one of the jobs that I have, I look at every bill the county pays. I will give somebody a challenge who's going to take my place on that job, to look at every bill the county pays. You find me on a Friday afternoon before the commissioners meeting on Tuesdays. I mean, on first and third Tuesdays incidentally. First Tuesday in Perry, and second Tuesdays in the evening in Warner Robins. But it's a challenge, and when I see a building that I don't recognize and payee or payor, whatever it may be, situations like that, we pull the bill itself and look at it and see what it's for and who authorized it. And that's a real challenge for those who's gonna take my place.
Let me follow up on that statement Commissioner Michael just made. This is sort of an inside thing that you may not know if you ever come to a commissioner meeting, you may hear something, but Commissioner Robinson presents the bills at one meeting and Commissioner Michael presents them at the other. Well, when Commissioner McMichael presents his bills, we usually spend $5 to $6 million in that time frame. Commissioner Robinson presents her bills and we usually spend $2.5 million. And we always tell Commissioner Michael, he's not doing a very good job scrubbing the bills. Go ahead, April.
I scrub them as much as I possibly can. I tell you what that amounts to is employee benefits, and then you start adding those things in, all the SPOS projects we have going right now, that it really runs it up really strong for the first bills that we pay in the beginning of the month on that. So that's really strong on that too. But thank you again for doing those SPOS. It is a lifesaver for Housing County. Thank you.
Let me, say, April's getting ready to close this out, but let's say something about SPLOST. Currently, a lot of the banks and a lot of the realtors in this room may get the, monthly proceeds of SPLOST. That's online, you're welcome to get that. And I've always said it's a great indicator of what the economy is doing in this county. And for the last, about 6-8 months, it is setting all-time records. We are averaging about 2.2 to 2.4 million a month. Do the quick math on that to generate it, it's about 240 million in expenditures for sales tax that's generating that $2.4 million. So there's a lot of money being spent in this county currently. My hopes and dreams that it continues, all of our hopes and dreams in government, the cities and the county and the Board of Education, that it continues because it is doing great benefits on capital projects. But that is something that we are extremely proud of and extremely proud of the citizens giving those revenues to the governments to be able to exercise building capital projects. And in closing, Commissioner Thompson and Commissioner Michael, just put it in your own words what the SPLOST has meant to not only you as a commissioner, but to the citizens.
Without the SPLOST, we wouldn't be a first-tier county. There's no way. You wouldn't have Houston Lake Road or the extension of Russell Parkway. You wouldn't have the Moody 5 lanes. You wouldn't have the 5 lanes at Eagle Springs School on 41. 96 probably still would not be finished or even started because we put $19.5 million into the second phase of SPLOST money. SPLOST money built Justice Complex. It built, it also has capital needs for like sheriff's cars and that sort of thing. So I'll let Tom finish up on that.
Well, Larry has given you major projects that's covered by the SPLOST on that too. But one thing I like about the SPLOST is everybody gets to participate in. Everybody gets to participate in, not just the property owners in Houston County. And a lot of the money that comes from the SPLOST comes from people who live outside of Houston County because they're using our facilities we have here in Houston County for lots of different reasons. We're glad they're doing that too. I know one year back, several years ago, when Dick Walden was in this position right here, he and I started riding through parking lots and looking at tags, and that was when you didn't have "In God You Trust" on the back of so many of them. We have that, which I believe strongly in. About 40% of the automobiles we found in the parking lots or the grocery stores and things of this nature from outside of Houston County. And that speaks volumes for Houston County as far as is concerned of it too. But without the SPLOST, we would not be able to do a lot of the things we have to do. We operate on the thing called a tax cap here, which tells you how much you can increase your taxes. And we haven't increased our taxes yet. How many years, Tommy, now? It's been a long time anyway, since we had a millage increase in Houston County. It was the lowest mill rate in all of Georgia, as a matter of fact. And that speaks volumes also for the county, things of that nature. And we are fiscally and and financially sound at this day. I wanna emphasize fiscally and financially and physically, if you will, too, strong in Houston County.
I'm gonna close my part out, and then I'm gonna step aside, April, in just a moment, because I think you've got something else you wanna do before you close out. But, I wanna personally thank both of you for your service. What you have said, I don't think we've ever had a crossword. If we did, the crossword was uncrossed before we ever left each other. And I think that goes for all of us, all five of us. But I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate what you've done for the people in this county and what you're gonna continue doing for the people in this county, at least through the end of this calendar year. And there'll be other things for you, to keep the county moving forward as we go forward, next year. But what you have done is you have built on the foundation of the people that was before you. And you have left a firm, solid foundation for the people that may come after you to be able to continue the fine work that y'all have done. But I wanna thank you, again, you're the epitome of elected officials, and I'm honored to call you my friend. Also, I wanna acknowledge, the three cities that are here. I know the, mayors of all three cities and the council people, that you raise your hand if you don't mind. We have talked about internally what it takes to make a good, community. But if you don't have relationships with the other local governments, if they are bad relationships, you're gonna have a bad problem. And I think that is one thing over the years of having these relationships and partnerships with other local governments in your community is the reason we're able to continue going forward. I believe we'll continue having that in the future, and I believe that the county will, as a whole, will continue moving forward with those partnerships and all. But the one component as well is the education. Dr. Scott, the Board of Education, his staff that are here, they have already been mentioned, but I can tell you, they are one of the driving forces for the growth in this county. I say that all the time, education, for people that want to come here, live here, for the school system. And the, Board of Education, you ought to be commended for what you do, and Dr. Scott, under your leadership as well. But I personally want to thank y'all as well. April, I'm gonna step aside and, thank you for allowing us to do this. I know it's a little bit different than we've done in the past. I think it's been informative, not only for myself, but those of you that may not know some of the background on these two gentlemen, but also to give honor to them for what they have done over the 20+ years in this county. They are outstanding public servants. They will be missed, but you're not finished yet, so don't go on vacation, because you're gonna get worked like a dog until the end of the year. All the problems that may come to me, I'm gonna give them to y'all. But, God bless both of you.
Thank you. And you guys, yeah, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So you guys may have noticed something a little different on your tables. So normally we have question cards out for you to write questions. Instead, we thought it was appropriate today to have thank you cards out. I encourage each of you to stay for a few minutes and just write a note of encouragement and thanks for the legacy of leadership that these two have left for us and our community, and we couldn't be more proud to honor you in this way. And I know that you still got several months left, about 9 months, 10 months left of service, but we're hoping that you're going to be able to retire those sports coats. And so my past chairman and chairman are here to present you with some new coats, a little more comfortable, that just is our way to say thank you for your decades of service to our community. They've got the jet from our logo, which symbols the importance of Robins Air Force Base here in our community, and then our logo on the side just as a way to show our appreciation for you. Please join me in thanking these two gentlemen for their support.